So, why do you think people like become engineers? Like, what is your like take on why people would do that?
Yeah, let's see. I think that lots of different reasons. I think possibly, it's sort of could be abstracted into this sort of mindset of whether you're going to consume or create. And
Yeah,
so I think inherently humans have the capacity to create, and one of the sort of more advanced versions of creating is engineering and taking tools that we have off the shelf and sort of building stuff. So, like I find it a lot of fun just to build stuff in general, whether it's engineering, software, AI, Minecraft, for example. It's fun to just build things, and so I
yeah,
think you know it's tickled that itch.
yeah, yeah. I play Minecraft sometimes. I really just play like this game called Rust. It has some engineering aspects to it. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I haven't. I only know I guess the programming language Rust.
What do you mean, like the programming language?
Yeah, there's a programming language called Rust.
Oh, okay, okay. And like, what do you like? What are like the day-to-day like tasks and responsibilities like for your career, or like just engineering in general, kind of?
Yeah. So I guess I'll talk about more of the development aspects of it. So basically we'll get tasked with like sort of a project or sort of like this vision. That's not necessarily something I came up with, but a project, and then working with people with varying different skills and skill sets to um, meet this sort of vision by a specific deadline. And then from there, we're sort of like tasked either depending upon like where you join the team within this sort of like um, life cycle of like engineering. So you could be on the very beginning of it where you help sort of, hey, we're going to use this tool. We're going to do things this way. Or you could become in the middle of it and it's like, hey, this is sort of what we've built. And
Yeah.
this is what we're going to do. But so I guess from like the day-to-day perspective could be anything from, researching some code, trying to design some stuff, actually writing code, deploying stuff, testing it, creating visuals, trying to come up with sort of, I guess, um, ideas and kind of prove them out, whether that's within the software architecture or whether that's in sort of like the broad concept in and of itself, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, so like I've interviewed two other people, Raymond and I think it was Gregory. Do you
Okay.
remember Gregory?
I'm not familiar with either of those.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were like kind of like they worked for my mom. Or like Raymond still does, but Gregory doesn't.
Okay.
And like asking the same questions, and you guys all have like different responses to tax responsibilities.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of makes sense too, just because I guess, you know, from like a software, it's there's only so much we're going to do and sort of,
Yeah,
but compared to like, say, a mechanical engineer, they're going to CAD. But I mean, I would imagine probably, and it depends upon, I guess, even too, right, what type of work. So there's an IRAD. So it's like research and development, or there's also contract work where they're specifically, you know, hey, this is the solution. We just need to make it kind
yeah.
of a thing.
So like, what's like the average income for like a first year engineer,
That's a good question.
or like in your type of field?
I'm not really sure what the, uh,
If you could give me like an estimate, what do you think?
so when I graduated with my master's degree, I believe I signed on with the company for 90K. So,
Wow, that's
um,
really good actually.
yeah, for sure. Felt really nice. And then
Yeah,
before that, I was working at a full time, 40 hours a week, and they had me at 40K, and that was when I was
oh
doing like
wow,
this CAD type work with they were like a subcontractor for Disney, and so I made
yeah.
some designs that are in like Disney Japan, so that's kind of cool. But I actually got let go from that job, and then that's what led me into getting my master's degree, and then
Yeah,
moved out to Colorado, and then got
Masters,
got this job.
yeah, Masters where it's at, kind of, huh? So like first
Yeah,
year
for sure.
you'd say like 40 to like 90,000, you'd say about that. Or,
Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I suppose so. I mean, the Masters definitely helps, and
yeah.
so I'd say, in the upper bounds, Masters certainly makes sense. But I think probably first year graduate, if you're really like kicking ass, you have a lot of good projects, you're able to kind of talk to that experience and things like that. You could probably expect somewhere between like 60, maybe
Yeah.
70.
60, 70,000.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. How about like a fifth year engineer? What do you think about that?
Yeah, and so then I guess that from there that delineates to where like what type of engineering,
Yeah,
I guess.
so like your type of engineering, you're a
You're like, how
software
much do you
engineer.
make? Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I'm not.
no,
I'm
you're
just
cool.
asking. Yeah,
Yeah, so AI engineers, I think we make from my range, here actually I have my work computer open right now. I think it'll tell me.
yeah.
I think it's like 130 to like 189
Oh my
is the range
God.
that I'm in. Yeah.
Wait, you said 130 to 189?
Yeah, something like that.
That's nice. How about a 10 year?
Probably double it. I don't really know
Double
that
it?
off.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, something like, yeah, right.
Yo,
Honestly, I don't really know, to be honest. So, I mean, I'm
if you
just
give me
kind of
like an
talking.
estimate that I can just like type down real quick,
I mean, dude, I honestly don't know. I mean, 10 years, I'm trying to even think what that would be in terms of like Northrop roles.
like around
I
like
mean,
200 to
I
like
mean,
250.
yeah, that's probably accurate.
Dang, that's really nice.
Yeah, they definitely
Yeah,
pay pretty well. But I mean, I would even argue, right? Like, so this is just the defense industry. So if you're doing
yeah,
AI and software, you're definitely going to be paid more if
yeah,
you're like living in San Francisco, or even because like for example, say you work for a company like Nvidia, they give you stock options.
yeah,
Northrop doesn't give us stock options, and so they give you stock options, they give you bonuses. Then of course there's your salary. So there's a sort of total compensation salary, not just
yeah.
uh, your actual salary. And that actually can equate to, 200, 300 even sometimes I've
That's
seen.
pretty, yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, Nvidia is probably like a pretty difficult company to get into, and then like even
Hmm.
just like doing the work, they probably like a lot of work.
Yeah, that's fair. But, yeah,
I'd rather work for AMD to be honest. They have better products in my opinion.
okay.
But
Maybe not
Nvidia,
GPUs. I don't know.
yeah, you don't know much about computers?
Oh, no, I do.
Oh,
Yeah, I run a GPU mining farm.
really?
Hmm.
Yeah, like if you're mining, then obviously you're gonna use NVIDIA.
Right. Or like even training AI, right? All of the
Yeah,
AIs and LLMs that are being built. But I
yeah,
mean, that's just
because
like GPUs.
it has AI software. Like gaming, I'd say uh, AMD is better just for like just prime gaming
Hmm. Sure.
experience. But
Yeah, absolutely. I like their
what are
CPUs.
yeah, I have a 7900X 3D.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What are
I'm not sure
like
what mine is, but
yeah, what are like educational and like vacational like what are like educational requirements for this career?
right. So I mean, I would highly recommend getting a master's degree,
Yeah.
or just having very much project based. You just need to have I would say, a willingness to learn, and then a willingness to kind of grind out, sort of, I suppose, the requirements that you need. So probably some type of
So
degree,
like
but
bachelor's degree is like kind of the minimum.
yeah, potentially, but maybe not even so. You know what I mean? I mean, today
Yeah.
the landscape, especially with AI, it's like ever changing. You could get really good at using AI, and then you could spend 4 years sort of like coming up with a cool concept instead of going to college. But not to say going to college isn't valuable. I think
Yeah.
certainly it is. Helped me figure out how to learn, and then now that I
Yeah.
have that principle, I can then apply it in many different ways. So definitely has its pros and cons.
And then what's like do you get like vacational time off? Like how much does that look like?
Yeah, when I first started, they give you 40 hours up front. and
Yeah.
then you earn like 3 hours every paycheck. And
Okay.
then after that, you earn, I think it's like four or something like that. And then when I switched roles, so I made a um, sort of a vertical move to positions to a different organization, but within the company. And then
Yeah.
I was able to
Get even more.
negotiate, yeah, more PTO. So I got 40 more hours, but then they added that onto my actual rate. So I earn like 6 hours PTO. And then if you work with the company like over 5 years, you get more PTO,
Yeah.
um, things like that. So
How long have you been working with the company?
5 years.
Oh, so you're right there.
Mhm.
What additional benefits come with the career? Like, is there like medical coverage, like retirement plans, paid vacations, maybe?
No paid vacations. Yeah,
Oh
they have a
man.
401k. I mean, only the vacations, I mean, here's how you look at it, right? They could pay for you to go to a conference. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I've had them do that before. I went to this machine learning conference in Baltimore.
that's pretty
But
nice.
yeah, aside from that, they help, I guess, pay for in some capacity health insurance, so you don't have to pay so much,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. And then yeah, they have 401k matching program, and then the more you work at Northrop, the more that they'll match to your 401k, and then you can pick the stocks if you want.
So what's a 401k?
Yeah, it's a tax sheltered account that allows you to invest. So basically, how does it work?
Sheltered
You
investment
put
account?
money, yeah, yeah. So you put money into it, and you don't have to pay taxes on it. And then after like 60 or whatever, or no, you pay taxes on it, and then it goes into account. And then once you retire, whatever the age that is, then you get all of that money in
Wow, that's
tax free.
really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so then you get the compound interest effect. So,
I might have to
um,
do that, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the sooner you do that, the better.
I'm already investing. I think I have like a
Okay, nice.
thousand five hundred in my investment account.
That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah. Maybe that's pretty expensive though.
I just buy
Yeah.
a little bit over time.
If you had to start over again, like in the same field, what would you do differently? Like would you like fix your mistakes, obstacles that you've had to face?
Oh, I see. Um, hmm. No, I mean, I don't really say I would change much. I mean, a lot of the stuff I like had to do was sort of to reach my goal. I kind of had this vision when I got my degrees, um and there were certain things that I needed to do to get experience. Like, for example, it was really hard for me to find an internship. So,
Yeah.
highly recommend internship. So, it took me a while to get an internship, but in order to kind of get around that, I needed experience. And in order to get the internship, you needed experience. So, I bought like one point, I bought one 3D printer to gain experience on how to use them, what's going on. I ended up having three 3D printers at one point, and then even bought uh, a meter by meter CNC that did 3D carving and tried to create my own business, all that kind of stuff for sort of like applied engineering. So I would design my own models. I even, for example, almost made a product for As Seen on TV. So
Yeah.
basically, I was just like iterating and iterating until, I've kind of found my sweet spot, which is software engineering with like AI, and I like to make some stuff with like crypto with the mining pool and things like that. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I don't
pretty
think I would
cool.
change anything. Just be nice to know, like during the thick of it, that it was going to be all right. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. There were some rough days.
Yeah, but going a little broke with those 3D printers. Those are like what, like $300 each, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So it was
And
like
even back
in some
then, they
of
were
them,
probably just
yeah,
coming out too, so it'd be even more expensive, huh?
yeah, totally. And like,
Yeah.
using student loan money,
Oh yeah.
and then at one point I had to like go down to part-time and then stop working because like I just needed to focus on school. So um wasn't easy, but I would say it was certainly worth it. I don't know. Like again, like in terms of like my control, I felt like I was doing everything that I should be doing. and trying to meet my goals and things like that. So
Can you explain how you approach problem solving, like when you're faced with a new challenge, like engineering challenge?
yeah, so problem solving. So say I'm trying to build something and then
Yeah,
I get an error. I need to understand like what that error means. You know, if it's 404, well, what does 404 mean? It's like, okay, well, not found. Well, what's not found? And sort of like diagnose essentially, right, what the problem is. And if I can't figure out what the problem is, well, then I need to be able to analyze what the problem is since I'm not currently able to analyze the problem. So I need to be able to create sort of sensors and sense what's happening within the code. So I can do that with print statements. Um, you know, but that sort of paints a picture that I can inject certain things within the code that tells me step by step what's happening, when it's happening, and then I can kind of find that problem. So it's basically kind of like just running through the system, so similar to like I guess like a not an X-ray, but an MRI. They inject dye
yeah.
inside the bodies of the people, and then you go through the scan, and then you're able to kind of see, uh, um, with a detailed report, like what maybe if there's problems, if any. It's kind of like, I guess, how I visualize it
That's a pretty
and
good
do
way
it.
to problem solve, to be honest. You find the error just and see when it happens so you can just like root it out and fix it.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes, it might be very obfuscated. Um, but
Yeah.
with the help with AI, though, it definitely
Yeah, for
helps
sure.
out because you need the data. You need to understand, like, well, why
Yeah, I
is it
think
happening?
yeah, I think everybody uses AI in their jobs nowadays, except for like McDonald's and stuff. But
No, I bet they probably do it. You know,
how do you make a burger?
yeah. Well, maybe to save costs on money or
Yeah.
uh, print the tickets or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would
probably.
imagine where to place the next McDonald's.
Yeah. How do you make a drink? How do you make Coke?
It's more like the robots.
Yeah,
That'll come
exactly.
though.
But that is all the questions I had for you, so thank you.
Okay, cool.